Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. Now in this video I'm going to be sharing with you a different combo you can use for your White Forest deck. As you know, Beatrice has been banned. I think today the ban will be in effect. I've made a video about this before, but I see a lot of comments from other people's videos and stuff, people saying that you need your normal summon. That is there any other way we can do this without using a normal summon? And yes, there's a way you can do this without using a normal summon, but it will require you to use a different engine in your deck. Now the one that will require you for that will require your normal summon is when you're playing with the Kashtira engine. You know, when you're playing with Unicorn and Birth, that's when you will need your normal summon. Now if you do not want to do this, I will suggest you use this list I have right here. This doesn't require your normal summon for the combo, although your end board will not be as great as when you have your normal summon, but it is better than you not having anything at all. Now you will need your Millennium cards for this. The Millennium Engine is, in my opinion, way better than the Kashtira engine. So you can just copy exactly what I have here and use it, but I'm going to explain to you how you can do this, because just one Sangenjin and any other card in your hand, any other monster card in your hand, will give you your entire White Forest combo, White Forest Azamina combo. The only problem is if you do not want to use your normal summon, you will end up on a less powerful board. But if you do use your normal summon as well, you will end up with a crazy board. So I'm going to do this right now. As we all know, again, Beatrice is banned, so we're going to have to dismantle Beatrice and stuff. But anyway, that being said, let's jump right into the combos. Alright, we're going first. And okay, this is great actually, this is great. So we do have, let's just imagine for this hand right here that all we have is our Millennium card. It could be either Sangenjin, or it could be either the Golem, or it could just be the Feud spell. Any of them work. The problem is, or the catch is, you need another monster. Any monster. It could be your Fuelos, it could be your Maxi, it could even be your starter. any other monster in your hand to make this work. So I'm actually going to use the combo right now. This is what you do. So you activate the Sangenjin. Of course, this loses to Duel. Everything loses to Duel. Well, especially now that Beatrice has been banned. Anyway, you activate Sangenjin and take. I will always advise you summon these monsters in defense. I almost got one turn killed by what you call it, a Mathmech player, because I left my monsters in attack and I got drilled 2 times in one turn. So keep it in defense, guys, because you are taking half your life points for this combo. Anyway, Sangenjin adds the Golem, and now you want to use the Golem. Remember, this combo can be done with any of the 3 Millennium cards. So you take that 2000, special summon the Golem, and then you add to your hand the 10. So this is the Millennium combo right here. Remember, normal summon will still be at 1. Now this is where you need another monster card in your hand. So we're going to trigger this now and just drop a Fuelos there and drop another Millennium card. That's why we play 2 Sangenjins. And now we're going to use both Millennium cards to go into Moon of the Closed Heaven. And from Moon of the Closed Heaven we go into the Requiem. Or is it Requiem? I'm sorry if I pronounced that poorly. So now Requiem, we go into the Prince-Smith Engraver. Now one thing you might be worried about, you know what, let me summon it first before I jump into that so it doesn't get too confusing. Now again, one thing that might be confusing to you, because in this deck I only play one Engraver. So you might be wondering, what if you draw the Engraver in your hand? If you draw the Engraver in your hand, it's not really a brick, especially if you do have a Millennium card in your hand as well. It's not really a brick. You could also send it away with the Bellstar and stuff. But if you do draw into your hand, you will equip this Engraver with the Weju Temple. Equip it right here with the Weju Temple, then go into the Requiem, and then instead of summoning with Requiem the Engraver, you just go straight into the Snake Eyes Doom Dragon, which is what I'm going to do now. But since we do have the Engraver now, make sure this is important. If you do not want to use your normal summon, make sure you equip the Engraver with the Requiem. Now you're going to send for Doom's Dragon the Requiem and any of the other monsters in the battlefield, and bring out the Doom Dragon. And now you can use both of them to go into sequence. It's basically the same thing as before, but it's going to start changing from now. So here we activate the sequence and make Lacrima using the link monsters. Remember, in defense, if this gets stopped and you do not have any other starter, you want to make sure you do not take too much damage. And then Lacrima targets the engraver in the graveyard and special summon it to the field. Remember, we are only playing one engraver and we are not using our normal summon. So here is where things are different from the Beatrice line. You want to use and go into Sprite Sprint first. So you will use the sequence and engraver. Make sure you choose engraver, not Lacrima. Okay, engraver. If you choose Lacrima, the entire combo has been ruined, as far as I'm aware. So now you want to make sure you activate Sprite Sprint, and normally this is where you will send Ashstella to the graveyard, and you know she's your full White Forest combo. But for this, we are assuming we do not have Ashstella. You could also try to bait with this if you do have your normal Sylve in your hand or any of your normal starter in your hand. I do bait with this sometimes, but like I said, we will not normal summon. So instead, send Elset to the graveyard. That's why we play 3 Elset. She's a full White Forest combo on her own without even normal summoning most times. So you send Elset to the graveyard, and now you want to bring back Engraver. So return the sequence and bring back Engraver. And now you're going to use both Lacrima and Engraver and go into Ptolemy M7. At this point, you can start summoning your monsters in attack because you are having negate on the field. Sprite Spring is already a negate on its own. Not really a negate, but a disruption, because if a monster is special summoned even from your opponent's side, not just your own, detach from an XYZ monster, target a monster on the field and return it to the hand. That's a big disruption. So now you target Ptolemy M7, activate its ability, send Engraver again. Do not send the Lacrima, send the Engraver and bring back the LZ to your hand. And this is why the Millennium Engine is a lot better than the Kashtira engine, because with the Kashtira engine you would definitely need to normal summon, and most of the cards cannot be added back to your hands except the White Forest cards. By that I mean the Kashtira spell card. So you can add that back to your hand easily, and most times when you're doing your combo, I mean, even the Kashtira spell card cannot be used to summon Doomed Dragon. So I'm just trying to tell you that Millennium combo is a lot better for White Forest than the Kashtira combo if you want to do this, especially after the Beatrice got banned. So now you activate LZ that you added to your hand and send away the spell card, the field spell, or the monster, anyone you want. You can send them to the graveyard. I'd rather send the field spell because I can add it back to my hand if I want. And now instead of adding a Sylve to your hand, because we are not normal summoning, you're going to add the Rusia of the White Forest to your hand, because again, we are not normal summoning. So now you activate Rusia's ability. Since you control LZ, you can special summon her. Now we can use our ability to discard this to draw, but we are pretending that none of these cards in our hand are actually in our hand, so we're not using any of them. So what we used was, from the beginning, 1 Sand Genjin and 1 more Charm. That's what we used from the beginning of this entire combo. These 3 cards are still in our hand. So we're going to use this, go into Rusia. That's a name, right? I'm going to check. Yeah, Rusilia. I don't know. Anyway, Rusilia is going to discard the final card, that is Sand Genjin. Thank you so much for your help. And we are normally, I like adding this to my hand, but since we are not normal summoning and stuff, we can at this point either just go straight for LZ Azamina, but I like adding the Tales of the White Forest to my hand. You understand why later. So now you activate the Tales of the White Forest and add the LZ Azamina of the White Forest to our hand. Perfect. And now we can actually activate this special summon itself, and we can use both of them to go into Diabell. Perfect. And now Diabell, first of all, you make sure you chain link 1 the LZ and chain link 2 the Diabell, because if Diabell tries to be destroyed and stuff, you know, you can just send her away to third destruction, or let her be destroyed. You can always bring her back and all those kind of crazy things. But anyway, Diabell is going to add back the Tales of the White Forest to your hand, because we haven't used its second ability, that if it's sent to the graveyard, we can set it back. So we can use it in our turn if we are about to be in the build or our opponent activates anything to special summon another body. But if they don't, we can always send this to the graveyard next turn, during our opponent's turn, to flip the entire field face down. Now with the LZ Azamina of the White Forest, we are going to add to our hand the Deception of Sinful Spoils. Very important. So we're going to activate the Deception now, and we're going to chain our Rusia in the graveyard and return the other Synchro monster. Remember, we are not normal summoning at all, so our end bond is going to be weaker. Normally I do have like 7 or 8, maybe even 9 disruptions, but it's going to be a lot weaker now. So now you activate your Deception and tribute the Rusia. Normally I won't have done this, I would have tributed from my hand, but again, we are not normal summoning. We are assuming this entire cards in our hand, except the tails that we added is non-existent. They are non-existent. So we're going to tribute the Rusia and grab our fusion spell. And now you can activate this, and we are going to summon our Azamina Rusiliago. Very important, by sending away the Deception. So we'll bring out Rusiliago. Or maybe I just call her Mu. I don't know if I pronounce this right. Anyway, activate Rusiliago, and you are going to add to your hand, grab the wanted Seeker of the Sinful Spoils. Very important. I would normally love to grab the Azamina Halves just to be a crazy disruption, but you know, no normal summon and stuff, so we're just going to grab the wanted Seeker of Sinful Spoils. Right? Yeah, I almost thought I was making a mistake. Okay, there we go. So grab the wanted. Now we are going to activate the Hallowed Azamina, return this in the graveyard back to our deck, and add the fusion card back to our hand. And now we can actually activate it again and chain the wanted. Very important. Right, now the wanted is going to add the Diabell Star to our hand. I only play one Diabell Star, I do not have enough URs to play multiples of most things. So we grab our Omni Negate Sylvie, and there we go, you summon Sylvie. Right, now you already have an Omni Negate, a flip face down, a return any monster on the field back to the hand, and that's basically what you have. But we're going to keep going. We are using Diabell Star. We're going to send the Rusiliago. I almost beat my tongue. And special summon that. Now Diabell is going to trigger. This is now where it's up to you. You could choose any of the other cards you have, like either, what's the name again? Azamina Deptos, but I do not play that. I think it actually should show here when I try the related. Yeah, you could add the Deptos if you want, but I don't think Duel adds any Azamina cards. I think she only adds a Sinful Spoils card. So you could add either a Sinful Spoils of Betrayal, or you could add the Sinful Spoils to flip face down, or you could add this one. Most people do not play this, but I do play the sources of the Sinful Spoils because it is one very good way to dodge Called by the Grave with your Sylvie. So if you activate Sylvie, she sends herself to the graveyard to negate the any effect you want to negate, and if your opponent called by the grave, that's GG for your Sylvie. It negates the entire ability and banishes your Sylvie. But thanks to sources, you can always just return any of your spellcaster and bring back the Sylvie or any of your banished cards, banished monsters, to dodge the Call by the Grave. I do this a lot in most of my climb to master rank videos, so you could check any of them out to see them in action. It's pretty good. You could also dodge Imperm with that. But for now, instead of me having something to dodge a Call by the Grave, I'm going to go for another flip face down. Just drop it right here. And there you have it. So now we could always activate this one. We could always leave this spell in the graveyard, but I'm just going to draw one free card. I could leave it in the graveyard so I could send it with Diabell Star, or rather Diabell in my opponent's turn. You know, it comes back to the field. You can then send it with Diabell to flip your opponent's cards face down. But because I already have the tails, this is what I'm going to flip face down. So I'm going to send this to the graveyard in my opponent's turn with Diabell's ability, flip my opponent's entire field face down, and then this will trigger to set itself back on the field. So that's why we added the tails instead of just going straight into LZ Azamina last time. It should be on the screen now, me doing that combo. But anyway, that's why we added the tails. So that's why we can actually use the wanted Seeker to drop a free card. So now we will have 2 cards in our hand. Perfect. We drew into Ash. So your end board will be maybe this. Most times, if you do not normal summon at all, remember I didn't normal summon at all. So for those people worried about your normal summon, I would advise you use the Millennium Engine, or you could use the Castura engine still and normal summon with all of this. But if you have already normal summon and you got negated and stuff, I mean, most times I always start with my Millennium Engine, not White Forest. So I don't know why you would normal summon immediately as a White Forest player. Again, except if you're playing the deck with Kashtira cards and stuff. So anyway, Millennium Engine, this is your end board. You're going to have an Omni Negate with Sylvie, return a monster with the Constellar and the Sprite Spring, and you will have an entire field flip face down with Dire Bell. That's 3, and another flip face down with the Simple Spores of Slumber. That's 4. So that's basically what you will have. You have 4 disruptions instead of the normal rather 7 to 8 or maybe even 9 disruptions. But thanks to our draw, we were able to actually have, have Ash Blossom in our hand. So basically this is kind of like 5 disruptions without summoning, or rather without using our normal summon. And you can do this pretty consistently. Remember, this entire thing was done with just 1 Sand Genjin and 1 Fuwalos. That's all. Like, we still have every other card in our hand. So anyway, that's the combo I wanted to share with you guys. Anyway, that's it for the video, guys. I just wanted to show you guys that this is possible. Like, I think White Forest is still amazing even without Beatrice, and this entire combo was done without using a normal summon. So for those concerned about any of your other cards being impermed and stuff, like, you would still suffer even with Beatrice. You would still suffer an impermanence because your Beatrice could have been impermed and a lot of your other cards could have been impermed. So without your normal summon, this is the end board that my White Forest Azamina deck can end on. So anyway, let me know what you guys think. That's all. I'm just rambling on and on now. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel for more content, and I hope to see you guys in the next ones. Take it easy and happy duelings.